Hi friends, welcome to my channel Total QA. Today we are going to discuss about REST Assured API Automation Tutorial 2. In Tutorial 1 we already covered how do we test REST API automation mainly using GET method, right? So if you look at the documentation, this documentation is already added as part of the description, and also this documentation is even available in the Total QA, total-qa.com blog as well. So now, today we are going to start with tutorial part 2. So let me open tutorial part 2. REST API Automation Testing Tutorial Part 2. As part of this tutorial, we are going to focus how do we test the post request, how do we design test cases for the post request, what are the prerequisites, and how do we validate the post request. You validate the response code, validate the response headers, validate response body. Now for understanding post request, you will try to access coronavirus COVID-19 API, which is available. The link will be provided in the description of this video. You can access this, and also this link will be available in the blog as well. You can refer for these details. There are so many APIs which are available here, but majority of all are GET, right? You can see here the majority is all GET. But we are interested in automating a post request. Let's scroll down. You will find two post requests. One is post webhook, one is create access key. Today I am going to pick it up, the create access key post request. We are going to automate this using REST Assured API. Let me click on create access key. When you click on create access key, the post request, the endpoint, the REST endpoint URL is this. Okay, so let me copy this information. This is the REST endpoint URL for post is this. And here we are seeing there is an authorization which is basic authorization. Okay, so authorization plays very important role in the case of post request. The authorization is a basic authorization. Let me copy this. This is also very important for us to understand what type of authorization it is. It's a basic auth, where in the case of basic auth we need to provide username and password. The username, I will take it up here. The username is, they provided Go Corona Admin. I will provide it. Then the password also provided here. We are able to identify the REST endpoint URL for post. What is the authorization? It is basic authorization where we need to pass username and password. Then we need to understand the body, especially for a post request we need to pass a body. See, this is the body. You have to copy this body and keep it here and mention here body here. This is also required to understand what is the body we are going to send especially for the post request. Okay, and finally we are able to get this as a response. Get the response as this, and also we get the response code as 200. And also the headers, we get these headers as a outcome, response headers. Let me copy them. Just keep it here, response headers. just give some tab so that it will be easy for us to understand the headers. So once this information is available, we have to start designing the test cases for the post request. Okay, so let me open Excel. We will try to open the test cases which we already written for get. These are all for get method. You can even maintain here as a get test, right? Or else you can even just replicate this, copy this, just create a copy. Okay, and here you mention this as a post test and try to add accordingly the post test. Let me write down test post test. Okay, so now, so validate the response code for COVID-19 API. This is same. Suppose if you look at here, in our case also we are validating the response code, response headers, response body. We don't change anything. What we change is we change the post request only. Copy this, then put it here. This is the first endpoint URL we are testing. What are the request headers? The request header is content type JSON, and one more thing we need to add here. The request type is the request headers we need to pass the authorization, the username, the password. All these three details we have to pass as part of request headers. Then to validate the response code as 200, it is same. Similarly, let's copy the same thing. This will be the same for all the requests because the endpoint URL will not change, the request headers will not change. Suppose what happens if I don't pass authorization, I will get 401 unauthorized error. That also we can validate. Okay, let's write one more test case. In the test case 4, what we do is we don't pass authorization, username and password. We should not get response, we should get validate the response code return as 401 unauthorized. Okay, this also we have to validate. It is important that we cannot access some of the request without authorization. This also we have to validate 401 unauthorized. This also we have to test. Okay, now validate the response body contains name. Usually the response body, what is the response body in our case? The response body contains a result. Okay, our result it is saying, we'll just put result. Okay, validate the result is displayed in the response. And also, in the case of response headers, we can validate content length. So what is the response header here? We can try to validate the content length. It is already there. We can fetch the content length and validate it is 24 or not. Okay. Now, once we are able to convert this information into test cases in the Excel, we got totally 4 test cases for post request, right? And we can keep on adding multiple test cases accordingly. Save this now, and we are going to go to the next point now. So this is completed. The next point is prerequisites. What are the prerequisites which are available for us to automate post request? This is already covered yesterday, but I'll repeat again in the previous video. But what is required is we need io.restissued. Okay, we can download this Maven dependency and add the dependency in the pom.xml. That's it. This is the only prerequisite which is required for automating this post request using REST issued API. And post method example, validate the response code, validate the response headers, validate the response body, and also we'll do one more validation, validate 401 unauthorized response. So we try to write 4 test cases. In the case of post, the program will be little lengthy program. So what we do is we will write different test cases as mapped to different test case IDs, so that it's easy to understand as well. Okay, so let's go back to Eclipse now. We're going to start writing the program. COVID-19 API GET method is already completed in the previous video, and the same program is available in the blog as well. Now we are covering COVID-19 API post method test.java. In this program, we are going to write the actual topic. Okay, that is going to be covered in today's video. Now, as I mentioned, the prerequisite should be part of the pom.xml file. I'll walk through that as well. Open pom.xml file. Okay, it is taking some time, but it is loading here. You can see the rest assured, the version 4.3.0. that's the only prerequisite which is required for rest assured. We don't require any other dependencies. But one dependency that is required is testng. Why? Because we're going to automate test cases using testng. We can add testng dependency as well. Now, post method. So as I said, we will try to validate in different test cases. What is the first test case ID? The test case ID is test case 001. Let me go here. Test case is 001. Description is this. And what are we trying to validate? We are trying to validate the response code. Okay. Response code for the COVID-19 API. Validate response code. Okay, so let's start writing the program now. So writing the program, as I said yesterday, first thing what we require is we require the request specification object. So where we can find the request specification object? The request specification is already part of Maven dependencies. We can go to rest assured 4.3.0. Here, when you scroll down, you will find specification package. The specification package, we can find the request specification will be there. So that is the object first we have to create. Request specification object has to be created. Right? So let's start now. Okay, so now request specification request is equal to rest assured dot UI. Okay, so this is how you create a request object. Okay, this is how you create a request object. Now, let's move on and try to create the headers. It's always important, we need to pass the headers also. What are the headers we are passing? Let's see. Okay, the headers are, first thing, how do we create headers? Headers equal to, say, we are going to add the headers. Right, for that headers, first thing what you have to create is we have to headers as a map. So let's try to do one thing. Headers is a map. For that, first what we have to create is we create a headers map. It's a map which takes key and a value, and we just create a new linked list here. Linked hash map. So why are we creating linked hash map here? Because the headers are mainly the key and a value. The headers are mainly key and a value. If you look at here, when you see the headers, there is a key, there's a key, there's a key, there's a key and a value. So when you look at a key and value, it is always important we have to use a hash map or a linked hash map. When you say hash map or a linked hash map, the difference is hash map doesn't maintain the order, but linked hash map maintains the order. So first thing, what are we trying to do? We are creating one map. Let me try to import. Okay, we are saying I am going to create one map. Why I am creating this map? I am creating this map to store the headers which are in key value pairs. Is it clear? And I am taking two objects. One is a string object, one is the object type, means we can store any kind of value. Okay, so now I am going to add these headers. Headers map dot put. What is the key? What is the value? So why are we creating this hash map again? The hash map we are creating to store the headers, which are request headers. For a request, we need to associate the headers as well, okay, to send it. So the headers are, let me try to put the same thing here, because we need how many headers? Okay, we need, at least we'll try to put 2 headers as of now. Second header, first header is the content type JSON. Yesterday also we created the content type as JSON. So let's try to do the same thing now. The content type, you can even copy from the response as well. You can see the content type is, let me copy this and put it here. Content type is application JSON. The key is content type, the value is application JSON. Now, if you look at the information here, we have username and password. We cannot directly pass username and password. We have to convert the username and password as a base 64 encoded value that has to be passed as a header. You cannot pass directly username and password. So for that reason, what we have to do is we have to copy this information, go to Eclipse, convert this information into a base 64 encoded format. Okay, so how do we create base 64 encoded? How do we create base 64 encoded format? Let's see, user credentials equal to, so let's try to create these username and password here. The username and password, let me copy it here. The user credentials are, let me put it here. The username is Go Corona Admin. Copy this here. Then the password is this. Copy this here. Put this information also here. But you have to clearly mention the difference between these two. This is the username. This is the password. But the difference between the two, you have to put one single quotation, single colon. Okay, right? So you put this special character to differentiate. This is the key, which is the which is the username, and this is the key, which is the password. So now the information which already we have, we try to convert this into base 64 format. That is what we are trying to do now. So this is the username and colon, this is the password. Now let's try to convert the user credentials into the base 64 format. For that, what we have to do is we have to take one more string. String token is equal to new string. And now here there are some methods which are available where base 64 dot, you can convert this into encode base 64. Okay, we will give this encode base 64 where we will give user credentials dot get bytes. Okay. Yeah, this is important. If you have a basic authentication, we have to convert this into encode base64 format. When you're importing base64, make sure we use r.apache.commons.codec binary.base64. Okay, this is very important. Then you can even try to print the token first to understand the value of the token. So what are we trying to do? We are converting the username password and trying to get the token. Right? Then this token we have to pass as the header. Headers map.put. So what we have to do, what is the authorization here? The basic authorization, you can see here the authorization is basic authorization. Let me copy this basic authorization. We have to pass this basic authorization as a header. So now let me copy this as a authorization, and here we have to take basic authentication basic and plus there is a space here. Make sure you are adding some space, basic space, double quotation, and try to put the token here. That's it. So this is the initial setup. You have to do it before you send the post request. This is very important. Then request dot headers, you put these headers here, you put the headers map. Okay, our request is ready. Once the request is ready, we have to send the post request. That is the next step. So first thing, what are we trying to do? We are trying to validate the response code. Means it is 200 or not, we are checking. The response code is 200. Let's try to check that now. Now what we do is request dot say when, request dot when dot say URL. We will always encode the URL to true. Dot we are trying to add the body. Why are we trying to add the body? For a post request, it is important to add the body. Okay, what is the body available with us? The body of the post request is this one. Copy this body, go to here, just put the information here. Now we have to put a backward slash before the double quotation here. It is very important. Whenever we put the body, you have to put one backward slash before the double quotation, so that it will be considered as a exact double quotation which is part of the body. See, when you put double quotation, it's a string, right? Between this is a content. If you want to consider the content which contains double quotation, we have to add one backward slash here. See, everything wherever you see double quotation, just simply add one slash. See, that's it. It is working fine, right? So request when URL encoding true, body, then dot post, and what is our post request? Post request is the endpoint is here. The endpoint is already available. Copy this endpoint, go to the code, then dot body dot response code. We have to look out an option where we get the response code. Let me see the response code which is available here. There is anything available for us to get the response code. See here, let me see, is there anything available? Okay, I think it is is not available within the body. So what we have to do here is let me try to remove this body. Then let me see for the post, do we have any response code available? Let's see each and every method. So name method available here, all get methods only. Okay, you see here there is a get status code and this is returning an integer. Okay, yeah, this is right. So response code here. Now I'm going to print the response code here. The response code is for the post request is response code. So the first test case is completed. We are able to validate the response code. You can check, you can put assertion and check the value also. This is your actual response code, and you will get expected from the test cases expected response code, that is 200. And how do you validate them? Set equals actual response code versus expected response code. Okay, so we are done with the first test case. Okay, so let me execute this one now. Right click here, run as a test-ng test, because we are putting @test. The token value is generated. The response code is 200 and we are able to successfully validate the test case is successful in this case here. So this is very important. Post request is little difficult when you compare with the get request, because get request doesn't require any kind of authentication or authorization to send the request. Now second test case, we have totally 4 test cases. Second test case we will try to start. For second test case, what I will do is I will try to copy this content again. I'll put it here so that we can save the time. Understand the second test case ID. The test case ID is TC_002. Let me try to put TC_002. And what is the objective of the second test case? Validate the response body contains name result. So let me try to put the response code. Okay, and also we will try to update this test case 002. Then validate the response code. Validate the post request response body. Okay, now see, if you look at these two methods, this logic is same here also. This logic is same here also. What we can do when you go for automation framework, we can convert the logic which is same, repeatable in multiple test cases, copy this, keep it in a method, call the method. So that way we can develop the framework also to use these methods for all the test cases, right? So not only that, this entire part also you can convert into a method. You can add it to the token, you can return the request object with the headers. So we can do all these things in the framework, but as of now I'm not keeping it in a different method. I'm keeping it as part of the test case as of now. Then we can convert this into different methods also. So what is our objective? Our objective is focus on response body. So response body means what? We don't want a status code, but what we need, dot body. So when you say body, what is the return type of the body? You can check the return type of the body is response body. Okay, response body. Now response body. Now let's try to convert this into string and print it and see what is the content of it to understand. And as of now, we are interested to execute only test case 002. Okay, so let me try to put here, right click and as test-ng test. Okay, 1 second, let's try to do one thing. We will try to disable this test case because we already completed the execution of this. Enabled is equal to false, right? So when you put enabled is equal to false in the case of test-ng, this test case will be ignored, not skipped. Skipped is a different topic totally. It will be ignored. So we focus only on executing this test case. Let's execute again to see the outcome. Token value we are printing here also to understand the token value. Okay, we got the response. See here, this is the response. Let's try to do one thing. Copy this response, open the browser, navigate to JSON formatter and validator. This is a very good website where we can format the JSON response, process it. Scroll down, you will find this information. And if you wanted to retrieve any key value from the response, first thing you have to copy this, go back to the JSON path online evaluator. Just remove this content, paste it. And we have to validate this value. So just say key. There is no array, just say key. Yes, we are getting the key, we are getting status, we are getting subscription, we are getting email, and all this information we are getting. So the response contains key, email, subscription, status. So we are looking for different information. What we can do is now, we will convert the response body into JSON path. This is what we converted. We created this in the case of get request also. JSON path is equal to new JSON path. Then in the case of JSON path, mainly what we do here, in the case of JSON path, we are interested to convert the response body into a string. Then we can get the value. Copy this now, put it here and try to import for JSON path. For JSON path, we have to add the io.restissued.json path.json. Then we need to get the key. What is the key here? Let me copy this here. So JSON path dot get, what is the key? The output key. This is the value we are getting. Or else if you are interested to fetch the status, that's also fine. And you are getting a response here. String actual. And what is our expected? Actually, if you look at the API is not provided the right response as per the request information. If you look at the coronavirus COVID-19 API, if you look at, they clearly mentioned that we will get the response as result as success. But what happened in our case? We didn't get the result as success. We got key, subscription, email, those information we got it. Usually we can even check if the result is not available, we can fail this test case. That is what we can do. But it's okay. We will try to focus on the status only. We can say we are looking for the status as, let me go to here, the status as active, because we are giving status here. Active, we can look out for the status active. That's also fine. Your expected is active. And we compare again the set equals actual comma expected. Now this is also completed, right? Let me execute the second test case that is already enabled. See. Okay, this is also successfully tested, right? But we'll put here as status, okay, as active. And this is also completed. We will try to mark this test case as enabled is equal to false because we are going to write third test case. We don't want to execute this test case right now. We'll write a third test case. So let me copy this information. Paste it here. The third test case is validate the response headers, right? So let me put test case 3. Response headers contains content length. We can take any value. Content length we are taking to consider. What is this content length? If you look at, as I said, the response headers are totally 6 are there: server, date, content type, content length, connection, vary. You can check content length. That is what I am checking. So let me copy this now. I am checking content length. So content length we should get it as 24. That is what we have to validate. Now, what we need, we don't want the body. We don't require the response code right now. We want the headers. So how do we get the headers? It's very simple. Here instead of we say body, we just say dot get headers. When you say dot get headers, what will happen? We get headers. We get it. Not response body. We get headers. As an outcome, I will say here response headers. Now what we can do? Let me try to import this first. This headers. And I am going to say response headers dot get, what is the key? The key is content length. If you pass the key, we get the value. I'm just passing the key. Okay, we get the value, right? Response header value. And also what we can do is we don't want JSON path and all. We want only what is actual, that is response headers dot get content length is the one we require. And also cannot convert from header to a string dot to string, convert this into string. Then here we are expecting 24. Okay, let's do one thing. This is an integer, int expected is equal to 24. Okay. Now this we will try to convert into integer dot parse int to convert this, because we are getting the length as 24. We will try to convert this integer. Why? Because whenever we get a string, the string contains an integer. The string we have to convert into an integer. This is the actual. We will try to compare like this. Okay. Let me execute this program and see. We are executing the test case 3. We are validating the post request response headers, right? Let me execute this as well. And as test and test. Okay, what happened here? Okay, might be what happens here when you try to execute, we are getting 132 as the content length. Might be that is the reason. Let's try to put here not 24 because the output is different for us. What is the content length? If you count the characters, how many characters we are getting as a response, that is called as content length. So we will try to validate this 132 because as I mentioned in the previous test case, the REST API which is provided in the URL is not right. So we are getting a different response. So we can fail the test case, or else right now we are validating with the exact outcome. Let's try to compare and see whether we are able to validate or not. Now it is trying to get the token now. After that it will try to convert this. I think this okay, for input string we are getting some exceptions. Okay, we will try to quickly fix them. So we are getting an exception here. Content length, okay, content length dot to string dot we are getting dot split. So it's a colon. But what is the point here is, if you look at the console, they are saying that they are getting this entire value colon equal to 32. So what I am putting is, I am trying to break it down to into split. When you say split, what will happen? It will take the delimiter and give an array. In the array, we take the first value. That's it. So what is happening is, we are getting this entire thing as content length equal to 132. But what I do, I want 132. I split using a split method in string. It is converting a array. In the array, I am fetching the second value. In arrays, the index starts with 0. 0 refers to content length. 1 referred to the value. I hope this time it will work successfully without any issues. Or else what we can do is, we can just try to print again and see what is the outcome we are getting and try to write a logic accordingly. Yes, now it is working successfully. Okay, so sometimes we have to process the response using some string methods, to string method, split method, different methods are available. We can use it as part of the string class. Now this test case is also completed. We mark it as enable is equal to false. Let's go back to the fourth test case where we have to validate the 401 unauthorized, right? So let me try to put fourth here. Validate post response, say 401 unauthorized. We have to test whether we are getting this or not. So here, just put it here, validate the 401 unauthorized. Code and the response. Okay, this one let's remove this because we are going to execute this. It's very simple. What we can do, any test case you take, just try to remove this topic. Just try to comment this topic, these 3 lines you comment, and comment the token as well. So when you comment the token, you don't have any authorization to access this request. Whenever you try to do get headers, get status code, response body, you don't get any outcome. Okay, so let me try to do one thing here. Let's try to get the status code. We will try to call status code. Here we are getting an integer. You can validate the integer. Actually we got it. But what are we expecting here? We are expecting here as, I expected here as 401. Okay, because we are commenting authorization, definitely we don't get any response, because without authorization you cannot hit the post request. Right? We don't get the token now because we commented the code for token. Now we are going to get 401. You can see 401 unauthorized. It's validated. We got the test cases pass. So like that, you can keep on automating the test cases using REST assured API for the post request. This code will be available in our blog in the total-qa.com. The blog details are see total-qa.com. You can refer to this for this program, and you can even practice this program and let me know if it doesn't work. I will try to provide you the support. And also one more thing, you have to validate, you have to add the certificate for this request. If any one of you is not able to execute these test cases, try to provide the comment in the YouTube channel. I will try to provide the description, because we have to add this to the certificate as well in the JRE. Then only it will work. If you are getting any issue, SSL certificate error, when you try to execute these test cases, either a GET request or a post request, you try to let me know. I can help you. How do we fix this error? Otherwise, you will face SSL certificate issue as an exception in the console where we cannot execute the request. So we even completed the post method example also. We validated response code, validated response headers, validated response body, validated 401 unauthorized response as well. So with this, we completed this tutorial. I hope this will be very helpful for you. If you like my video, please subscribe, press the bell icon for notifications, and please share